Hi there, friends. This is Kristen here, and it's the first time I'm seeing you all today. You guys have been spending the day with Sarah, and we're giving Sarah a little break, and I'm coming in for the slide into home base here at the end of the day. And I'm Kristen with Softlex Company. We are doing Softlex Company's Customer Appreciation Week. It's a virtual jewelry making event, and today we're here with Joyce from Just Bead It. Hi, Joyce.
Hello. Good to be here. I've been waiting for this for so long. I love it. I had so much fun last year, and
Oh,
I was like, I'm doing it again. Yay.
we're so happy to have you back. It's just such a delight to get to talk with you and have you be here with everybody on the Softlex Facebook page and YouTube channel, and then everyone over at Just Bead It and in the Happy Beaders group. It's just such a joy. And today's project is like, you guys. I don't know if you
off for a loop with this one, didn't I? Like what? You can do what?
You totally did. You totally came out left field with this one. This was a project that both Sarah and I were like, oh, did you see what Joyce did? Like what? We're totally teasing you up right now, but you guys will have to just wait a second to see what we're talking about. Joyce is the owner of Just Bead It, and you are located in Concord, California. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, just a stone throw from your home base. Not from you, but like your headquarters.
My headquarters. I feel like I'm over there in spirit.
I know. I always feel like you're there.
And tell us a little bit about Just Bead It.
Well, we started in 2003 as a way to do a family business because everybody in my family was tired of community and we wanted to do something. And I was addicted to beads. So they said, Joyce, we're doing a bead store. And I was like, okay, you guys are crazy. But of course, I am just happy.
You're like, I'm totally in, but guys don't know what you're getting in for.
You really don't know. And till then, it was always like my mom or my sister would be like, hey, can you make me this? Can you make me that? Da, 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 da. They didn't want to even have any part of it. They were like, okay, we'll help you with the business part, but you keep on. Of course, now I made them addicted to beads. So
everyone's beading in the family now.
Everyone's beading. Yeah. Now we did have a brick and mortar for the longest time and always thought we were going to go online, but never really did until the world changed in 2020, and that just like threw everything. So now we're online. We're still learning how to be online because we're not used to that. And other things, yeah,
right?
It's a different thing. And there's a lot of things that I really appreciate about it. And it's one of the biggest things is the connection, like just having the connection with Softlex more, that in itself. And then the connection with everybody from all over. And then even some old customers that moved over the years and they're like finding us.
They've come back.
So, yeah, because we can. So it's been like really, and I do miss the local stuff and the things. So we do some bead shows, and I'm teaching at adult ed at the Mount Dial, our school district, adult education, lifelong education. So we get a little bit of in person. So that's been
wonderful. Oh, and
yeah.
So I didn't know that. How would anyone find out about that? Do you have that information on your website if they are local to your area?
We've been slowly putting that out. I just added it to our email list. We sent out an email about it. I am going to be putting it on our Facebook page as events so that people can like also see it there and add it into there. So yeah, so you'll be able to see it on there. And we are revamping our website right now. I was hoping to get to that before this, but life throws all sorts of things at you, and we're just going to roll with it, and little by little, so yeah, we will be getting it more on the thing. But if you do go on our website, justbeaded.com, sign up for our newsletter. I am making I just started, so but we are going to be emailing all those new things. Like if I do a show or if I do teach anywhere else, because I'll teach at the shows, and I teach at the adult education lifelong learning, and then in a few other places here and there. So
right.
we're
So
gonna have
that's
some
the
pop-ups.
best way, is to go to the website, justbeadedconcord.com, sign up for the newsletter, and then you'll be in the loop for all of the things that are going on over at Just Bead It. We'll have classes, bead shows, a new website, it sounds like, coming down the pipe here. So
website,
very excited. Well, and right now, I know you do sell on Etsy. So if they go to your website, does that link them over to shop, or is it somewhere?
There was a link, but I think it's broken right now, so we have to fix it. So it's better just to hop over to Etsy.
Just go straight to Etsy.
Yeah, that link right there is perfect.
Awesome. So go find them at Etsy.com.
Find the link, if you can't get to the link, it is Just Bead It Concord, all one word, is our name of our shop. So that's the easy way to search it on Etsy.
Yeah. So the last part of this little link here, where you just see Just Bead It Concord, you can search for just that, and it'll pull up their shop. Oh my gosh, so much going on. Very exciting.
So much. It's all great. I love it. It's perfect.
It is perfect. You know, that's the way, us creatives, we have to be busy and doing things. It's what gets, it's one of those things where when you stop is when you start to go, what do I do next? It's when you're moving and chugging along that the ideas just keep coming.
So true. So very true. And if you stop, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I just like,
right? So true. We have lots of friends joining us. We have a lot of people watching right now saying hello. Happy to see both of us. Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Stacy Williams says this week rocks. Totally fun with Joyce. I love learning new. Well, Joyce,
Stacy.
Joyce has something new today.
Totally
for sure. She has. If you guys have been following along with all of her posts and checked out the Customer Appreciation Week and bought the kit, you already know what we're talking about. But Joyce put together this kit where you can make your pendant, or you can buy the whole thing where you make the pendant and the necklace. And it's using a cabochon, and it's using soft flex wire to cage that cabochon, and instead of hard wire, which is normally what you see, or a cabochon setting is where you glue it down. This totally blew our minds. We have never seen anything like this before.
It's been percolating it for years in the back of my head that there's got to be a way. I mean, I in the beginning it was like, there's no way, you just can't do it. You have to just learn how to deal with wire. And so many people either take to it wire or not. It's like it splits. It totally splits. And so I knew people that really had problems with wire, and it could be anything from hand strength to just frustration of not knowing how to use it, and it just doesn't look like the way I make it. There's that. I'm like, so there has to be a way. So it's been percolating, and then
I do wire work. I dabble in wire work. I make my wraps. I do things like that, cones and some small findings, but I've never wrapped a cabochon, I don't think. I'm trying to think. I don't think I ever did. I don't think I ever wire wrapped a cabochon. It always intimidated me a bit. And, it's just this was just like, whoa, I'm comfortable with soft flex beading wire and crimps. Crimping is that's my game. So this just was super exciting to see. Cindy says, leave it to Joyce. So creative.
Thank you, Cindy.
So as you guys know, we've been doing a giveaway every hour of the show. So we do have a giveaway today. We'll be giving away a Peace and Love mystery design kit. And we're going to have to ask a question. So to win our giveaway, you must be present at the end of the video when we call the name. If you're not around, we give you, a minute or so to say, hey, I'm here. If you're not around, you forfeit your prize and a new winner will be drawn because we want you to be here and we need to kind of announce it right here live. So that's the deal. We're going to have a question about all of the different colors we've got here. So just stay tuned. And once we flip down and see Joyce's colors, we'll ask that question for the giveaway. Becky is saying dexterity problems can be a pain when you're working on jewelry. She knows that for a fact. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so some things that work for someone is not necessarily going to work for someone else. So that's why it's so wonderful to get all of these different types of inspiration and ideas of how to do something.
Yeah, this should be a little bit easier than doing, it is a new thing. And so new things always have a little bit of a learning curve, and there is going to be, but I'm going to show you a way to do it a little bit easier. And one of the nice things is, we're going to be flat crimping. So for the most part, that is kind of the easiest way to crimp. So
yes, I know. I was just thinking of flat crimping this week, actually, because Rebecca did some flat crimping on the Kumihimo project. And
I didn't watch all of that. So that's cool.
And I know what flat crimping is, but when I started beading, I just from the beginning always used a crimping plier. I never flat crimped. So when I do it, I feel really unsure about it. But I know lots of people do it and have been doing it for many, many years. So
well, we'll talk a little bit about that, because some people do have a problem with flat crimping, because if they started ahead of time and then had issues or tried it and things slipped out, there's reasons why it slipped out. It's not necessarily and I'll say it's probably 8 out of 10 times it probably is the crimp, and these, soft flex crimps are going to do it. That's one of the big
they're just going to be okay. Yeah, I know. They are just the best. So if you guys don't know the quality of Soft Flex Company crimps, they are really great. I mean, they're double the wall thickness as most. They are very sturdy. The metals are all really soft and easy to work with, and so they hug that wire really tight. I mean, we are in the beading wire industry, we're the beading wire business, so our crimps are really super important to us. And I always tell this really quick story that one time, I worked for Softflex for 20 years, and the bead store I worked at before Softflex sold Softflex crimps. So I've always used Softflex crimps. And there was one time where I was working on something and I said, I don't have any crimps, and I'm just going to run down to the hobby store because that's what I can pick up, right? Ouch. I was like, and it was almost like up until that point, I didn't understand why people struggled with crimps. I just don't know why it's so difficult for some people, because I'd heard all sorts of stories. But when I got those crimps home and I tried to make something, they just crumbled. Like every time I tried to crimp, they would just crumble and fail. And I would, oh my gosh, now I know. Like they're not all created equally. I just thought they're not. This teeny tiny little thing, why can't I just go grab it anywhere? But you can't. It's an important part of your jewelry design.
So true. And then there was the you can still kind of find them now, but for the most part you don't see them. But like they had ones that crumbled, or they had ones that were so thick, made of thick brass, that you couldn't squeeze it. So if you had arthritis, carpal tunnel, any issues with your hand strength at all, there was no way you can get those. So that was the other issue. So it's good quality crimp. Is really,
it's the name of the game. You got to do it.
And when you think that these two little beads are what's holding everything, personally, I'd pay $2 each if I had to, just so that they were work, because
Right.
that's what all that hard work,
Is
and they're not that expensive. They're not $2 each, so at least they're
no.
not that. But I would pay that knowing that it would work.
Right.
Maybe
It's
I
so
won't
true.
make as much, but
They're the workhorses of the design. They're holding it
Mhm.
all together for sure.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, Joyce. Well, let's
Let's
see.
flip this over and get
Let's see
get
what
it.
we got going here.
Let's flip over. Oh, what did I do? Sorry, hit the wrong button.
Oh,
See
that's
if I can
okay.
remember how to hit the button right. Oh, no, still didn't do it.
Well, I can
There
switch.
it is.
Oh, there you go. Let me pull in you.
I must have double clicked it so it went back. I don't know what I
It
did.
went back the other way. Yeah.
Went back the other way because why not? Why not?
So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on your screen here so we can have a good look at all of these beautiful
Oh yeah, I
projects.
should take off the two that I'm going to take these off briefly, and then I'll put them back on because I want to. At the end, I'll put them back on because I want to talk about length. So these are all the colorations that we came up with. Let's get it on the bigger. We're going to put it on here so you could really see it. So I have the aqua violet.
Aqua violet. And you can, all of these colorways, you were able to buy the pendant by itself or the entire kit, I believe, right?
Yeah, you could get just the pendant if you were just wanting to learn how to do that, or if you wanted it to come up with a necklace, you were able to get that. Also,
And you still have some kits available, is that right?
yes, I believe I might only have the pendant left in this one. I forgot to check and make sure. You're going to see all necklaces right now. I don't have any single pendants right now because I decided to just switch them all to necklaces.
Oh, well, that's fine because the pendant is still the same
It's
that you
still,
would get,
yeah,
right?
still the same. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. And you can find the kits on Joyce's Etsy shop, which is Just Beaded Concord. And Thomas just shared the link there.
And then once so these cabochons are glass cabochons that are made by Parpuka, Les Pearls Parpuka. It's a French company that works with Czech glass manufacturers. So they design some of the shapes and they design some of the finishes and stuff. And so I'm in the process of trying to get a few more so that we can expand, the ones that sold out, and expand some colors because they are a lot of fun. When I do get that shipment, I'm going to also have the cabochons by themselves.
Ooh, this purple and copper is very pretty.
Yeah, this one is sold out right currently, and it was the most popular one. And this is the dark purple that we named. It has copper in them. Instead of, so like we have silver, copper, and gold featured in there, the different metals. We have the copper rose.
Oh, that's really pretty too. Copper is just very hot right now.
I love copper. I'm always a copper fan. Okay, I do have to fess up though. The copper crimps that are in here are not soft. So the only ones that are not soft.
I will say probably because you can't, copper crimps from Softlex are a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? They're a little smaller, the inside, like the diameter, because the metal around it is thicker. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did hunt some really good ones that do not crumble, so you won't have to worrying about crumbling. And we got them in the antique just to blend it really nicely. Other than that, though, the silver is the silver and the gold are the Softlex sterling crimps and the gold filled crimps.
So is the shape of this cabochon round, totally round?
Yes, they are totally round. It kind of gives the illusion that they're not because
I know.
of the fact that you are putting the line of the Softlex on it, and you have the large hole roller bead on the top. So it kind of really gives an illusion that it's not. I've been playing with other shapes and other shapes. Some of them work really well. And I will be posting some of those in the future.
I think someone asked if you
Yeah.
could, if you think you'd be able to do this on a donut as well. I don't know, because a donut, even though it's circular, it kind of, the way the shape
I actually feel like you could.
tapers in, maybe. Yeah.
I have a feeling it might be possible.
It would be worth a try.
This is our jet silver. No, a black. Yeah, silver black. Silver black. I'm sorry.
Very
silver
pretty.
Black. And then we have a jet bronze.
I really like that one.
Yeah,
I like them all.
You know, we pulled the beads for it and we're like, okay, this is all right. And a lot of people like jet and gold together. So, okay, in bronze. So it'll be fine. Once I made it, I was like, oh, this might be one of my favorites.
It's really pretty.
It's like really pretty. And then the last, oh, no, not the last. Okay, then there's the sage green. We're using fluorite on that one.
I love fluorite. Nope, that's a good one too. It's a good thing I'm not going to choose which color is my favorite, because I would have a hard time.
And then our red gold. So it has like a bronze finish on it. And then
I like that it's almost some peachy reds, right?
Yes, we decided to mix our reds. We decided not to go so bronze and traditional red with it. So we got more of a corally peachy red in there. There's that crystal of the crystal that shall not be named. And you know, you got like a rosier color and a coral like red in there along with it. And I think the changes of red in it just really gives it a nice little depth to it.
It does. So is that all of the colors that we've
Those
got?
are all 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's it. 7 colors. We have 7 colors total.
So for our giveaway on this video, we're going to say, which is your favorite color? Let us know. And then you'll be entered into the kit giveaway that we will announce at the end of the video. And you must be here present to win. So we've got dark purple, jet bronze, sage green, aqua violet, copper rose, silver black, and red gold. Oh my gosh. You are really great with color combinations. I remember that from our last couple of videos together, that you just do a wonderful job. Each one that you show becomes my favorite. Yeah. That's what Narita said. That's how I was feeling.
That's how I was feeling when I was making them. And it's really funny to me when I do it, because like I always like to have a range of colors. Because everybody's different. I try to do what we can, and get everybody's kind of favorites in there. And then sometimes I go, okay, we'll pull this color because I know it'll go, people like this color. And then I go, oh, I like it too. I didn't think of it. Okay.
I was doing this for other people, but now I realize that I love it. I know.
All
Lois says, how can one possibly choose? It's really hard. It's really hard. They're all so beautiful.
All right. So we are going to, I'm going to make actually one of the jet bronze today. That is the kit that I pulled.
Awesome. Barbara says you outdid yourself with this kit.
You, Barbara.
I agree.
Let's move those out of the way. We're going to really concentrate more on the pendant part, because that is like, the feature.
Yeah, that's the technique you have to kind of, learn. Everything else is kind of stringing, I think.
Stringing. So.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about some of the beads in there because there's some really interesting beads that we decided to choose. Um, we kind of were like, really, are these going to work? And then once we start stringing them, we're like, oh, these are the best things in the world. Why aren't I using these more? Some of the beads, because a lot of the Czech beads that Parpuka has, it tends to be more on the bead weaving side of things. There's a lot, they do a lot of the multi-hole. I say multi because there's a few that have more than two, but most of them are, of course, the 2-hole beads. But that, and sometimes I forget how cool the beads are when they're strong, just simply strong. And that's what we're going to kind of talk about in here, because I want to show the different types, because you might not have seen these shapes before if you're not bead weaving. So I have a pair of wire cutters out. I have a pair of chain nose pliers. I do have a pair of crimpers that I'm going to use at the one of the final stages, and then bead stoppers. Now, I did this without the bead stoppers, and then I did it with the bead stoppers, and it was so much easier. So if you have minis, I would say grab those mini bead stoppers, get 3 of them. Will make your life so much nicer, because it will help tame those little wire ends while we are forming it around the
Bead
bead.
stoppers are the best.
Yeah. And I found and I have the minis for the cabochon part, and then I have a regular one for when I'm stringing. But you could, of course, use the mini for stringing too if you want.
Now, if anyone got the Softlex Mystery Customer Appreciation Week kit, you did have 2 minis in your kit.
Yes, exactly. So I was really excited when I saw that. Yeah.
Those little bead stoppers get me so excited too.
Yeah. And you can you probably you could probably use regular ones for all of it, but I just found that the minis were just nice for they don't get in the way. So for the process that we're going to be doing. Now, you also probably want a ruler. You don't have to be super precise on it, like roughing the stone technically is, but if you got the kit, there's only so much Softlex in there, and I don't want you to cut too large and then not have enough for things. There's a little wiggle room, but not, a whole lot. And so in the with the kits, some of the people that bought it originally, we didn't have these ready, but we do have written instructions that go with it, and we sent out a copy to all those that did purchase it before the instructions were ready. Hopefully you got it in time for today. There was a little bit of a delay, but I did email it to you also, just a heads up for those that are have the kit, and that actually has everything on there. And we are going to, for a limited time, stick these instructions after this live. I'm going to stick them onto our Just Beat It Happy Beaters group, so you can pull it down from the files there, and that will be available through October 31st. We're going to give you a nice little window to be able to go find it. So you can now you do have to request to join, and you're going to have to wait for me to be off of this to approve you, because it's a one-man show or one-woman show on my end. So I do it all, and the technology is not my thing. Beading is my thing.
So that's the link to her group right there. It's called the Just Beat It Happy Beaters, I believe. Is that the name of it?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Joyce is being super generous with that, because this really is a standout, inspirational project, something that I know that I've never seen before. I don't think it's ever been done before. So she's making that available to everyone for a limited time, for free. And then after that, if you're watching this later, you can go check out her Etsy shop, and you should be able to buy the pattern possibly there later on
Yes,
after October
yes.
31st. All right. All right,
Yes,
take it away,
Janelda.
Joyce.
Okay. I just saw a comment from Janelda. Yes, you should have gotten the instructions. So even if you had only just the pendant and not the pendant and necklace, the instructions include it's the same for the pendant for both of them. And I did send that out to you. It just might not. So check your email, because I did go back and emailed, because then I was afraid that not everybody got it in time, because you never know with the postal service mailing out things. So I did. So you should have that on there. So in this kit, we have, so this is the necklace kit. It has all the stuff for the pendant already packaged in one thing, so you don't have to like fumble through the other stuff to find it. So you want to grab out the pendant first if you have that. And then the rest of the stuff will go over. I'm just going to put it off to the side. That's for the necklace, and we don't need it until we're stringing our necklace. In our pendant kit, we have a few little baggies. We have 2 feet of our medium soft flex. We have our Cabochon Parpuca. So again, it's from the Parpuca company, is the Cabochon, and a few other beads that are in the necklace also. That is a 25 millimeter. Now, I would, there's anything larger and anything smaller is going to have some little, you can kind of do this for anything between like a 22 and maybe a 30, and this is going to work perfectly. I've been playing with larger ones, and I've been working out how to make a larger. So stay tuned. You'll see how to make it work. Or maybe you're inventive and you can do it. And I think that would be wonderful. And that's part of the reason why I want to share it with this, because I don't want to be the hog of this. I think that we can learn together and, get our creative juices going, working together and finding, ways to further wrap stones with soft flex. So, and then there's also a roller bead. You want a large hole roller bead. This is a Czech glass bead with a very large hole. The hole needs to be around 2.5 to 4 millimeters, not inches, millimeters wide, to be able to cover all the crimps that we're going to be using. I had found that I found this 8 millimeter large hole melon that works too, and we're going to go over that when we get to it. Then there is a packet of crimp tubes, the 2x2 crimp tubes, and I have a 1 crimp cover too to go over on top of it. Let's put this up in the corner there so that you can kind of see. So there is, you only need 8 for this part, but there are 2 extra in there. We did 10 in the kit, just in case you drop one, because I know that happens. And then the last thing that's in here is I'm using some chair cast products. I'm using the beaded 5 millimeter bead cap and the Nouveau bail. And I'm not going to get those ones out quite yet, because we're not going to use that right off the bat. I'm going to put my roller bead off to the side. Right now, I'm just going to concentrate on the crimps. Get some crimps out. And the soft flex. Now, there's 2 feet of soft flex here. You are going to want to cut it into 3 pieces that are 8 inches. Now we have 8 inches just to make it easy to go in and out all the crimps that we need to. You can actually, for this size, the 25 millimeter size, you can do it with 6 inches per strand, but I found that it's really kind of tedious. So unless you want to like be there forever, the 8 inches is a little nicer. And if you find that 8 inches is a little bit, you want it a little longer, you can go a little longer. Save those little pieces to make little charms off of things, because you'll have some extra pieces left. So I just cut one, and then I'm going to use that one as a guide, and now I have 3. If they are not perfectly 8 inches, that's okay. We are going to be cutting off a lot of the ends, so you'll just be saving like the longer ends. So if some of them are a little shorter, we're good. I think I'm going to go in a little bit closer. So I have 3 lengths of medium soft flex at 8 inches. Then I'm going to take all 3 together and go into one of the crimps. Again, these are the soft flex gold filled 2x2 crimps. And I don't know why I did it that way, because I find that it's so much easier for me to stagger them in order to get all of them in. So I'm not sure why I decided not to stagger them. And then I even it out after. We're going to bring that crimp all the way down to the center. Now see, you can even see I did not cut mine properly. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We're going to be snipping off most of those ends. So try to find the center. So we are using the metallic, is it antique brass? You used to have a bronze, right, Kristen?
We don't have the bronze anymore.
Bronze
Yeah,
anymore. I know.
that's the antique
That was,
brass. They were very close in color.
they were very close, and that was the thing. I was like I was about to say bronze, and I go, no, that's the old color. That's why I was like making sure I had that right. Okay. And then once we have it in the center, we're going to make sure that there are laying side by side. You don't want them crossing inside there, or it's going to cause problems wrapping. So make sure that those look like a ribbon, one on top of the, one right next to each other. Before you go, take your chain nose pliers and just flatten that crimp. Now, these ones aren't holding anything, so it is a-okay. You don't have to worry. You just need to squeeze it down enough that it hugs around it, and that's all you're looking for. You're not later when we get to the top, we're going to make sure that we are squeezing well so it holds everything. But this right now is fine, just with a nice soft squeeze. So but kind of going back to what Kristen said, some of the reasons why we had problems is because of the way, with flat crimping in the beginning and the types of crimps. So we're using better crimps, so they hug around the wire nicely. But also, it's the tines of the pliers are closer here than at the tips. And so you don't get as much pressure going onto the crimp on the tip part than inside the tines a little bit further closer to the, further inside. And that means that like this side of the crimp is going to be closed down better than the other side. So if you really wanted to make sure it's flattened down properly, you flatten it down with one, flip it over, and flatten it again. That way you come from both sides and it's going to be more equal.
That's a beautiful tip. Yeah, I didn't think about that. The tapering of the tool is going to change the pressuring, change the pressure on how you do it. So just flip it around.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah, and like unless you have parallel pliers, but those are kind of sometimes bulky for this type of use. So I don't always grab out my parallel pliers. Parallel pliers would do an even squish on them, which if you've caught in any of Tracy from Tierra casts some of her stuff with those big crimps, that's what she uses so that it's more even. And it's just a really good method. But you know, most of us have chain nose pliers and they tape. Now we have three. We've always had 3 wires. We are going to call the ones up here the front wires. And then we have the middle wires, and then we have the back wires. For the most part, it doesn't matter which one you really, if you grab this one or that one, you're going to start off. There's a natural curve to it. And so I usually like to leave that natural curve. I don't like to take it and try to force it the other way. It doesn't always work as nice. So using that natural curve is what's going to dictate our next move. So the ones in the back, the 2, we're going to go from the right side and the left side of the wires in the back. And we're leaving the middle wires and the front wires. And we're just bringing these 2 together. This part, we are setting up the little part on the back that's going to help hold it together. So we're putting this crimp on right now. I'm going to take those 2, bring it through the crimp, and you're just going to try not to let these cross, but they're going to want to cross. And just bring it down and just leave a little bit of a loop there. I would say that's probably about 6 millimeters, 7 millimeters, something like that. It really doesn't matter. It could go a little bit bigger than that. It could go a little bit smaller than that, but try to get it even. So you want both sides. If it's a little bit less than even like I have right now, that's okay. We're just going to work with it. And I'm going to squeeze down. I'm going to flip from the other side and squeeze down so that I have a nice flat crimp. And that's how we're going to start. So that is going to help brace the back of the cabochon.
And we didn't even see the backside of the pendant, but it's actually very pretty on the backside too, from what I recall from the pictures.
Yes, let's take a look at this. I meant to kind of go over. So we're using 3 strands, which is kind of a typical wire wrap technique. Is using 3 pieces of wire. It's like 3 to 4, sometimes 5. I like to do as little as possible, just so that you don't have as many ends at the top. So we're just doing 3. We have now in wrapping, reason why we're using flat crimps, we're going to do that instead of those little tiny wraps that you use for the craft wire being of stones. So that's good. And typically there's one at the bottom, and then usually they're on this side. But because of the way Softflex is, you have to do it a little higher than the sides. You can't just do it on the sides. And that's where it was a little tricky. So it does
flip out.
It'd flip out. So that's why they're a little higher.
And Tracy from Tierra Cast is here, and she said it's so clever and so cool. It really is. It's just like I said in the beginning, mind blowing for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Helena says the back is beautiful, and Melanie says, "Don't hate me. I like the back more."
No, I don't, because I've been tempted to stick that on the front. Okay.
Yeah, and I will say the cabochon. The cabochon does have a dome to it, so
yeah. And I think you probably could get it on, but it is going to be a little bit more difficult just because of the fact that there is a dome, like you mentioned.
Yeah, so if you do want to do this technique with the back being the front, you probably have to look for a cabochon that has a really pretty back, so that what you're showing in the front is pretty, because the front of this cabochon is gorgeous.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is when I did this, I wanted to make my first one so that you did have because most cabochons are ones that you have this pretty something on the front that you don't want to cover. There are cabochons that are very solid. Like if you had an aventurine or rose quartz or other stones that if you're working with stone cabochons, some of those colors are definitely plainer, like how this one is on the back here. And so if you were to put this in the front, that would just juice it up.
Right.
In fact, I might even try it. And I think it's possible. I started to try it, but then I was like, no, focus on what you're doing right now. Let's get this one. Because, when you start doing something, all those I have all these creative things that are going on in my brain, and my body cannot go fast enough. So I'm trying,
Right.
but yeah, it is. It's a really pretty detail. Think of it as someone flips it and it's like pretty. It's nice.
That's really pretty on the back too. Yeah, Sharon says, this is why I love my beading community, always learning different techniques. It's amazing. There's always something new to learn. It's very cool. Jackie just has a question about the crimp. She said, how many medium strands will fit through the 1x1, the 2x2, and the 3x3? We do have a chart over at softflexcompany.com in the tips and tricks section that breaks it down for every crimp and every diameter size. But for the medium, you can get one strand through the 1x1. I don't know if you might be able to get two, but I know you can definitely get one. So a lot of times it's used on the medium as an illusion crimp, So the 2x2, you can get up to 3 strands. And then the 3x3, I know I've gotten, I think about 10 in the 3x3. You might be able to get 12 in that size. And there's the crimp chart right there. So you can go to softflexcompany.com/all-about-crimps, and you'll see that chart for all the different diameters and crimp sizes.
Yeah. And I was tempted to use, we're going to go over, so how I ended it. And if you do have there are ways to probably use the 3x3 on here, in some of these steps. But we went with just keeping it simple with one size here. You said 10, so that's handy to know.
Yeah, I think you might even be able to go up a little bit more. I know for sure I've definitely gotten 10 through there, 9 or 10. So Melanie is asking, can you do this on rivolis?
That is a good question, because I've been thinking about that myself. I think you're going to have to get a tiny bit more creative with the back a little bit. But I think it possibly, because you got to keep in mind, this is flat, whereas those are pointed on both sides. I have not tried it out yet. That is on my to-do. I have some to pick out to try. And I would say it's worth a try, because it'd be a lot of fun to do. There's so many colors in them, and they're so sparkly, and and all the colors in Soft Flex is just amazing. So I think it'd be a really fun mix.
So we know it works on a flat back cabochon domed one like Joyce is showing us today. Everything else you'll just have to try it out and experiment and report back, because this is just a totally new idea. I love it.
And I feel there's this part of me that really wants to apologize for not knowing that answer, because that was on my to-do. And then, as some of you know, I got sick, and so it put everything behind. So I didn't get to those yet. And it is still on my thing. So if you don't try it, stay tuned. I will probably post, it works, or, oh, I had problems. I hope you can do it.
Joyce, you're not
Someday.
required to know the answer to everything. It's okay.
I know, but when I had the pieces like sitting there to do, it's like but I just ran out of time, and that's fine. But I think it's really cool if somebody tries it and shares, because that would be
Yeah.
a really nice thing.
Be sure to
So the
share
next,
it in Joyce's Happy Beaters group because she would love to see it.
for sure. Okay, so I am taking now the two middle wires, and I'm going to put a crimp on. This crimp, we are not crimping until way later in the process. And that's where you can, we just want this in place. And yes, I could probably just use the mini, but I like to be able to like move this up and down to adjust things. And you can't do it so much with the mini bead stoppers. So I put that on, keeping it loose, not worrying too much about how even it is right now, and putting a bead stopper, one of the mini bead stoppers, just to kind of keep it from flopping around. Later, we're going to be putting 2 more of these wires in there, and that's part of the reason why we don't want to crimp it yet. Now we're going to bring these to, the next part is to bring, so in this mini little tiny loop that we did right here, we're going to bring back the left side over to the left side, the right side to the right side. We're going to flip this back because we want that middle to be in the middle still. And we're going to put the back side, the right side of the back wire and the front side of the right wire in a crimp tube. And again, we're going to have a little bit of adjusting, so we don't need to crimp it quite yet. So we're just going to add a mini bead stop. And then we're going to do it the same thing for the left side. And to be honest, you could do the left side first if you wanted to. It doesn't matter which one, just as long as you're making sure that you have both lefts on the left and the rights on the rights. And putting a crimp tube in this, and a bead stopper on there. And now you're going to have like a 3-petaled lotus flower looking thing, which is really pretty. And I have an idea for an earring with this. Was just
I
to
was just
start with some beads, because
as you
it's so pretty.
started, as you started with the left side, I was like, it's a lotus flower.
I know. Again, it's that whole like, I have so many things pulled to the side for me to try out that this has sparked, and I'm like, oh, I need this. I need more time. I don't have it, but one of these days we will get there. But yeah, isn't that pretty? I love it just like that. In fact, I kind of sat with one of these for a long time just looking at it, because it was just, I really was happy with it. We're going to bring these down a little bit closer. So I'm going to put my cabochon on there, and we're going to scoot. I'm going to start with scooting down the crimp that's in the middle here. And we want the crimp just at the top of the cabochon. I might pick the wrong kit because it's making it really dark, so I'm hoping you're seeing this okay. And then I'm going to start, I don't know why, but I like to start with the left side on this. And I'm going to, once you get it in place, I would suggest moving the mini bead stopper down. This part is going to take a little teasing. You're going to just ease your way, and if it moves a little bit, that's okay. Just breathe. Take some piece from the lotus and just bring it down. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to get this a little bit like kind of right. We have the middle one centered to the crimp here. And then we have it just off-centered at the top on the left-hand side. Putting the bead stopper. And now we're going to bring this one down. Don't get your bead stopper hooked to your mat. That didn't work. Bring this down. Again, aim it. I used to know where to brighten the screen, so hopefully you can see this okay. And then bring that down and then hook this one. So right now it's not caging it. It's just kind of sitting, turning into a smaller lotus. You want these to be a little bit more even. So I'm going to see how my middle one's kind of going off to the side. I'm going to reposition it so it is, and that means I pulled too much on this one. So I'm going to pull a little more on that to even up out those. So they should be closer to even.
Yeah, I think that the color you chose is okay. It is dark, but I can see what's going on. So it's looking good. And Gail just
usually, yeah.
I was going to say, Gail's just asking, did we ask the question for the giveaway yet? We did. We asked it earlier, Gail, and it's what's your favorite color from all of the choices that were available. We looked at them earlier in the video, and we'll look at them again after Joyce is done with the tutorial. But those are the colors that you can find on her Etsy shop from the kits. So just answer which was your favorite, and you'll be entered to win.
Now is part of the tricky part. We are going to, I like to do this not on the mat, so I'm bringing it into my hand because I do feel like in your hands you can get a better feel for it. That being said, it's sometimes intimidating. You feel like it's going to slip out, and it is going to slip out a little bit, but we could do it. We could do it. As we know that we could do it. I'm going to push. Just look at this real quick. So the medium wire is going to brace the back, and then the back wire goes back to the side to go with the front. And that's going to cause, so this, we're going to go inside the petal. The cabochon is going to be in between these two here on the sides. So we're just going to brace that back, make sure that the wire goes and just, and sometimes I find it's easier to go to the back so you can see it easier and feel it easier. You only want those front wires to go into the front so that you're like that. So now you're only seeing that back wire little loop, and then it springs out, and then you have the big petal in the back. Bring it back. It is going to fall out right now because we haven't crimped the crimps, and we haven't brought the crimps all the way close to the cabochon. Now that I have this in place, we're going to fiddle it a little bit more. You just have to take your time with fiddling because, and I'm going to rush mine a little bit, but don't go as fast as mine. I could go a little faster because I've already made, I've made about 9 of these now in the last couple weeks, and we played, and I had a whole bunch of playing before that. So I can kind of do this a little bit quicker. So don't worry if you're not doing it as quick, but you want to bring that down. I kind of pinch it. If you're having problems pinching it, I suggest get some washi tape or some masking tape to just, I would say washi tape because it's not going to leave the residue on it that you have to then clean up. So if you just kind of tape these two down here, you'll be able to kind of keep it in place while you're trying to do this next part. You're going to squeeze down flat this crimp, and we want it up against the cabochon. And so we don't want to squeeze in this direction where the flat crimp is going to be parallel with it. We want it perpendicular. We're going to go in this direction. That way it hugs up against the side, the edge of the cabochon. So I'm going to take my pliers and go in here, make sure it's up against that cabochon and press down. And you can press down from the other side too if you need to. And now I can take that off and don't worry about that. And we're going to go over to the other side. Sometimes when I do the other side, I hold it upside down for whatever reason. It likes to, make sure that gets in there. Make sure your other piece doesn't come out. What happens is sometimes this back one likes to move on you and get up in the front, and it's like, no, I want you in the back. Stay in the back.
Yep.
Back. So it slipped on me, so I'm a little bit low. So I didn't realize I slipped a little bit. So that's what happens when you go too fast. So even I do this sometimes. Here's a little trick if you accidentally got it too close, because I want it to be kind of in the, what would that be? Almost like 2 o'clock spot. And it's starting to be closer to the 3 o'clock spot. If you have your crimpers on, you can kind of gently open it up just a tad bit to slide it back up to that 2 o'clock spot. I didn't realize I scooted that so low when I was handling it. And now I can redo that and we're good. That is my problem there. Now I'm going over to the left side. And again, a little washi tape will actually be handy. I thought of that like after the fact, but now I'm used to this, so I'm going to do it. And there we go. Oh, I'm sorry, I was off camera a little bit. So I just flat crimped on both sides, trying to get them as parallel as possible so that it will lay up against the edge of the cabochon. It won't super hold it. It will hug it around it. It will hold it mostly, but it still might move a little bit. We are going to, the next step is going to keep that from moving.
So just be gingerly holding it because you don't want to pop it out of the little cage you made. It looks great.
Okay. There we go. So we're going to move that up a little bit to be out of the way. The next part is to grab the two front ones. So we're leaving the two back ones. The two front ones are going to come together. This is what's going to help hold our cabochon more in place. So we're going to put the crimp on with that. Now I suggest this next part, see, even mine just likes just flip out, and that's okay. It's going to get back on there. And when I pull these down, I'm going to try, and that's what's going to, like, if you notice this kind of cinched up a teeny bit more, the more I push this down, this crimp down to the cabochon, the tighter this will all feel around it. You want to get it so that you're right there at the top and as even as possible, but don't worry about it too much. It still all works out really pretty. So that's what it's going to look like right there. I don't crimp it yet, and if you want to, you could put a mini bead stopper, but I don't. I'm like, well, what am I going to say about that? I just don't. I then will take off the mini stopper of the middle pieces, and I am going to pull this crimp outwards a little bit so that I can now feed those back, because we had these, we still have these loose back wires that we had, and we need to feed it up with into the two millimeter crimp. So this is where you want crimps that will take at least 4 so that you could do this. I experimented a lot with different kinds of crimps just to see what's out there, just in case somebody didn't have these kind of crimps. I tried to do it where I could do 3 and 3, because a lot of crimps only take 3, and it just didn't hold the cabochon as well. So having the 4 is crucial at this stage, because you want the 2 back wires and the 2 middle wires to go on there, and you want them not to be twisted. If they twist, they don't go down. So what I'm going to have to do is actually pull the crimp off all the way, straighten these out, and because I have this on here, I'm not super worried about the cabochon falling out. It doesn't usually at this stage. I mean, it is possible, but doesn't usually. And I'm straightening out my wires so that now I can put them back on through the crimp. This is the stage that if you had 3 millimeter crimp tubes, and you had probably the mighty crimper, because I don't think a flat crimp with a 3 would fit into a lot of large hole beads at the top when it's crimped down. If you could get all 6 of these into a crimp, that would be very handy, because then you have less space, less things that you have to figure out, a space to figure out how to cover. So at this point, we have 4 wires in the back, in the more back area, and that's the back and 2 middle wires. You're going to even out and make sure you're pulling there we go. We're going to pull that middle wire so it's a little bit more on there. You can kind of like adjust it a little bit if you want a little loopier. And then it's even, and it's kind of aligned with the 2 front ones, and they're kind of like at the same spot in the center and also next to each other. And that makes it easier to get covered. We're going to crimp these. Now you can use your crimper if you want to, but I did, and on the instructions you actually can see that they are crimpers, but I did end up favoring the flat crimp, because the flat crimp kind of slid into these large hole beads a little bit easier, and so I just flat them. I'm going to flip it over to the other side and get the other part of the crimp to make sure that they're not, because of the pliers being tapered. And there we have it's in there now. It's not going to come out. We got it. That's all we needed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 crimps to hold it in place. There is a lot of crimps, but now we need to make it into a pendant, though. So how do you do that?
It's so cool. We just have to stop for a second and say how cool this is.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for a moment, right? But how cool that is.
Terry says first it's a lotus, now it's a pineapple. That's so funny.
I love that. Yes, it does look like a pineapple. sure there's like a lot of really cool ways to now utilize this in this sense here too.
Right?
I mean, you
Yeah.
could definitely like play with this. Like if you really wanted to, you could just get your large hole bead on there and just use one of these to hook into a loop and then let them be out and add little things, and it totally does
You
look like a dream
totally
knuckle.
could.
And, I
Oh,
mean,
that's
there's
really fun.
a lot of
That's
fun things you can kind of do.
Kathy says, such an interesting demo, something I've never done and so well explained. Thank you, Joyce. Yeah, I agree.
Well,
You really, Joyce is really good and patient and like clearly lays out all of the steps. It's awesome. Beautiful.
thank you.
Wowzer. Very, very cool. Paula is excited to try this. Melanie says it's bang up gorgeous. I know. I love it just like that. I don't know what, yeah,
No,
like I
I
like
know.
the
What
idea
is it?
of having one going back and it's like a spray of
Yeah.
soft.
And then you could probably do like add some beads, go under a little thing, and then
Right? You
maybe
have
like
so many
crimp.
options.
Well, I mean, look at what we could do. We could just kind of like go under, add a little crimp bead on the end, and then, and it's there. I mean, they just like, what are we going to, we're going to just do a lot of fun things with this, right? I can't
Yeah.
wait to see what everybody does with this once they do.
So just a reminder, this is Joyce's site is justbeadedconcord.com, and you can also find her on Etsy at justbeadedconcord, where you can pick up this kit if you don't have it already. It comes in so many great colors, and you can get the necklace kit or just the pendant kit. The necklace kit will have both the pendant and the necklace in there. Really, really cool. Terry thought the same thing. Barbara says it looks like troll hair. Troll hair. Right? Yeah, you can like. What if that was the top of some sort of art doll? Where you can have
Oh,
the hair,
absolutely.
and then
That
you
would
could do
be so fun.
something else for the body. There's just so many ideas. So
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, everyone's loving it, Joyce. You've got
Oh,
like
that's
so many comments, so many more than I'm even
oh,
showing.
well, thank you, everyone. I so appreciate that. That is why I do this. Is well, not really for the
Not well, for the community and for the
yeah,
inspiration is what
it's
you mean,
sharing,
right?
and it just is so exciting that other people are ready to do something too. I think yeah, it's that whole sharing. I love it.
Jamie says that was so exciting. Her heart was beating fast. So awesome. Yes, Melanie, she did say that there is an instruction available. I know that when you get the
Mhm.
kit, you'll get full instructions with the kit. But she also made the PDF file available for a limited time over in the group. So if you go to the Just Bead It Happy Beaders Facebook group, she'll have to, it's a private group, so you'll have to get, allowed in, and then you'll be able to find it in the file section. Joyce doesn't have it up there yet, but she's going to do that after the show today. So it'll be there shortly, and then it's there for a limited time through the end of October, and then it will be available as a pattern in her Etsy shop.
Yep. So yeah, it's a 4-page with detailed pictures, even using the little minis, so you can see what the front and the back look like, and what it looks from the side, just in case, just to make sure that you can follow along, and it gives you like so.
And if you got,
I
Lois, did you get the kit but you didn't get any instructions? I think Joyce said that some people that got the kit early may not have gotten them, but that she did send out an email with it. So check your email or send send Joyce a message over at Just Bead It Concord, and
yeah.
or just go to the group and find it in the files. So you could
Yeah, you could also find it in the files. But I did, the people that did get the kit, they did get a printed copy mailed to them. And then I realized, oh, it was risky. And I had one of the people that I knew that was farther away messaged me, and I was like, oh, you didn't get it. Okay, I better sure enough, I'm going to email. So I emailed everybody, and then I decided, okay, we're going to put it on the Just Beat It too, just in case. Happy beaders. Okay, so we have that. Now, there's a lot going on here, and at this part, because we want to turn it into a lovely pendant, and that's where the magic is, we're going to cut one from the front, pick the shortest one. So I only have one now sticking out of there. And then I'm going to cut 3 from the back. And it really doesn't matter what 3, really. Just whatever 3. I kind of usually leave the longest ones. So I got a little cut, gave it a haircut. Now we have just one sticking out of each of those. And we're going to take both of these together. And what this is doing is tying the, like, you could, and I've done this on one of them just to try it out to see if it's possible. And what happens if I cut that one there, and yes, I can get it into this, but on occasion you can kind of flip it out a little bit if it kind of, I always take my pieces that I make and I go on test runs. It gets shoved in my purse, it gets shoved in my pocket, it goes, finds, like, I just toss it around, see what it can happen. And what I found that once it popped out, and you can get it back in, but it's kind of annoying. So leaving one from there to the other and doing this next step really helps connect them. So we are going to get another crimp on. We're actually going to be using a total of 8 crimps on here. And yes, it's a lot of crimps, but it's fun and it doesn't matter. And then we're going to squeeze this one flat. You can use a crimper if you want to on this one. I just find the 2 next to each other with the crimper was a teeny bit harder to get up into the roller bead, but by themselves, just one single one is okay. And then we're going to cut one of these because we don't need both of these. So now we got this little triangle of crimps. So in this case, I was really inspired by these roller beads, so I decided to use them. And we're just going to pop that on there. Now this roller bead, it goes up, it isn't tall enough. So if you have a large old bead that's tall enough, it's a bead, you could probably use a daisy spacer instead of a bead cap. But I'm using this bead cap from this beaded 5mm bead cap from Tierra Cast. Was on there. And that dome shape of a bead cap actually just covers that little top, just like that. I don't know why it's not focusing. Now it's focusing because it's not in my hand. So now you don't see it at all, which is a really
great tip. Nice to have little bead caps on hand for stuff like that.
Yeah.
That looks beautiful.
Now, if you don't have a roller bead or a large hole bead that covers that, I also found you can use a cone, but you want the right size. I got the wrong size. Let's grab the right size. So you can do like a cone on there if you have a cone, because they have a wide enough at the bottom. Maybe not this one because this one's silver and I'm using the bronze, but that will also be another way to do it. But I really liked these roller beads, and you can get some stone beads. I think even with these Czech roller beads come in such a great variety of colors and finishes that I think would just accent stones really nicely. But I find it to be a really pretty addition. And then that bead cap. Yes, it does, doesn't it? It's a really nice finished look. Once I have that bead cap on there, you can grab hold of another crimp, go into your, now if you didn't want to do a bail, because you can do this, just leave a little loop and then you can just bead right through it if you wanted to do it that way. But you know, tear cast makes beautiful veils and it just adds to the finished look. So we incorporated them in ours. We're just going to get into a crimp. The medium does not go back into that crimp cover, bead cap. So you are going to be cutting at the crimp, but they hold. Again, these are the nice soft flex ones. One thing sometimes that I do for those that are kind of worried if I have to cut is I like to flip, and this is back before regular use of nice crimps. I would take the end and back through the crimp. This is not shown on the directions. This is just like a little, like if you're worried about crimping this one because you have to cut right at the crimp, you can always do that. You can always flip it around, crimp it, and because we're putting a crimp cover over, it looks great. But again, because we're using awesome tiara cast, or not tiara cast, the other parts are soft flex crimps, we don't have to worry about that so much. So I'm going to actually take that out.
Yeah, I cut off at the crimp all the time.
I know.
So it's
you know,
it's fine.
Yeah, I am so not worried about it anymore. There was a time I was more worried about it back in the days when I did not have access to good crimps all the time. And when my kids were young, things got pulled on, and all that. I was a little bit more worried about it, but now I'm just not, it's not there anymore. But I get it because I've been there. All right, so I'm going to just crimp this one. You can, if you do your magical crimpers, go use your magical crimp, and all you have is a nice little bead at the top, and you don't have to use the crimp cover. I don't have those on hand, so I'm going to use my regular crimpers. I brought them to my adult education, and I think I left them in my tools there because I was showing them off yesterday, actually. And then I'm going to just cut that off. I was like, oh, darn. Oh, well. I have a cabinet. It's nice, but
it's
it means
hard to remember
all
the things. Yeah, that is nice. So it's there when you come back, because that's one of the hard parts about teaching, where it's not where you are. You have to bring everything all the time.
Exactly. So then now I'm going to put my crimp covers. Now, when I do crimp covers, I am going to aim for the seam to be in the back, and hopefully it does what I ask. And I like to put my finger underneath it to brace it once I get it on. And I just use my chinos pliers. I squeeze from the side a little bit, and I don't close it all the way, but just enough so it doesn't slip out. So then now I can move it around in a circle and kind of ease it into place. And you don't want to squeeze too hard, or you do what I just did and accidentally get it off center. But what's really cool is that if you squeeze it hard the other way, it fixes itself usually. Boom and boom. So we just made a pendant.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful and so ingenious. Really, really fun to see you come up with that and share that with us. I feel so honored that I got to be here to experience it. It's so sweet. I love it so much.
Thank you.
And you're an excellent teacher, Joyce. You really are.
Oh, I appreciate that. I try. That's all I do is try. Because I love when people learn new things. I think it's just such a wonderful part of life. We don't have to stop learning when, after we're out of school. We can keep going. I think it's just so important.
It is.
Even just
It's so
beads.
much fun to learn new things and make new connections. And,
Mm-hmm.
like just as we saw today, your new idea sparked lots of other new ideas from everybody watching. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just because, oh, what if we did this way? What if we added this? What if we use this bead? So many
Yeah.
different things can come from it. And then that the lotus flower shape, that was so pretty. I was like, oh gosh, there's
How are we
just so
gonna?
many.
Yeah. What can you do with that? I have an earring idea and an idea. Lots of ideas. Yeah. So fun.
um,
So fun.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying they like to learn every day. Lois says, I started learning making jewelry to help keep my mind active because I'm getting older. And Marianne says she likes to learn something every day. It's amazing that we can keep learning even when we've done so much, right? It's just like
Mm-hmm.
that new ideas come to us. Jenny says, amazing, Joyce. That pendant is a work of art. Watching it being made was truly amazing.
That was
Yes. Cheryl
lovely.
says, now I want to go look through all my cabochons to do more. I know I was thinking that before the video. I was like, I don't even know if I have any cabochons. I got to go see if I even
Oh,
have any
oh.
because it's not
Well,
something
you
that I
might.
normally think about doing. But now I'm excited to try this.
You might get a little care package then, because I
Oh,
have cabochons up the wazoo over here.
do you?
I love them.
Cabochons
Time of
everywhere.
it. Yeah.
So right now we're at about 4:30. So I don't
Mhm.
know if we're gonna get a chance to do the necklace, but if you want to show it,
Yeah.
yeah,
I do want to show the beads a little bit. It
yeah,
really is
right.
all that I wanted, I think, because it is pretty self-explanatory. Um, we're crimp. We have chain for the longest part. Where I usually don't crimp until the very end. I like to just string them on. So I start out with the dangle. These are dangle drops, 15 by 6 millimeter dangle drops that are Czech glass beads. Then, of course, that bead cap, because we had it in the pendant, we put it in there, which makes it a nice little accent to that little dangle drop. These minnows are parpuka again, just like they're the Czech glass made, but designed and color design from the pearls parpuka. You can find them all different places. We are setting up to get some of ours that we have for these kits up on our Etsy too. These are little like cylinders that are drilled the other way. So when you stack them, it gives a really cool texture look to it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, they just a little bit organic
Uh-huh.
looking, like not quite a
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. And yet they are like perfect little shapes. So it's really kind of that fun, like organic but perfect shape. But it's just because they're all,
The way they line up
normally
together.
you drill them this way, and you
Um,
see the cylinder
so they're
that way.
perfect. They're perfect cylinders, but they kind of bounce around because they are drilled on the side. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Then we have a crystal, and then we have these lovely tear cast size 8 seed beaded size 8 beaded seed bead. So I have both the bead
Oh,
cap and the beaded seed bead in there. So this is about a size 8 seed bead, so you can like kind of get an idea. And it's a really nice little touch to, little something different than just a round metal bead or even a flat spacer. And then we have another parpuka, the Ilos parpuka. These are kind of like a pinch bead, but they're not as long and they're a little chubbier.
cute name too.
Yeah. And those are the kind of like the new, the beads that are on here that maybe some people haven't seen. I mean, they've seen something similar to this because there are pinch beads, but these are just like a little wider and a little shorter. They're kind of like It's that same triangular pinchy look, but they're just like shorter and chubbier, which I think are fun.
They're very
And
cute.
the dangle drops, I think it's really funny that they call them dangle drops. I don't know why, but I'm like, it's a drop, but I like that. Now I like saying it, dangle drops.
When I was
But
looking at your necklaces, I thought that a lot of them had totally different beads, but are you saying most of them have these shapes? They're just in different color
yeah,
ways.
every single one of these have the same beads.
Oh,
There's your
awesome.
dangle drops, there's your minnows, there's your crystals, there's your elos, there's your, they're the same exact. They're made exactly the same way. It's just the choice of color changes the way it looks.
Right. Very cool. So
Now,
speaking of color, let's just let
Mhm.
people enter the giveaway one more
Yeah,
time before we
I'm
stop.
gonna pull those out. One quick thing is the kit comes with 2 feet of this oval chain. And that makes a longer necklace. It's about, I want to say it's a 32 inches, I think is what I measured. I also cut one of these a little shorter and it still goes over my head. I cut this to 14 inches. So you can keep that, the 2 feet, or you can put your own clasp on if you like shorter necklaces.
Yeah, so having the extra chain gives you the opportunity to make it longer, or you can cut it down and add a clasp if you want it a little bit shorter. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. So
We have
let's.
the jet bronze here. This is the aqua violet. This is the dark purple, but we are out of this one, by the way, all like totally out of that, not even the pendant. I'm working on getting more of these so that we can have more because, hello, I'm a purple
I know,
girl and I have to
it's
have
so
more
pretty.
purple.
So to be
And
entered
then
into the giveaway, let us know which of these colors is your favorite, and then we'll choose a winner. You have to be here to win your prize.
we have our silver black. We have our copper rose, our sage green, and our red gold, which to me is like that one. That one surprised me. I liked that one way more than I thought because I'm not normally someone that does red unless I'm doing it like for a holiday or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't pick it, but it was just so fun to incorporate like all the different kinds of reds with
I
that
think
one.
I think all the shades of red really help make that really interesting and different
Yeah.
in that red tone. So pretty. Oh my gosh. A lot of love for the sage green, the aqua violet, copper
That one's
rose.
almost sold out. If it's not sold up now, it will be. That's the second most popular one.
I can
Yep.
see why. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
That fluorite colored wire is one of my favorites too. It's just so soft and it kind of blends in with so many different things. Oh my gosh. This was
Yeah,
so
we use
much fun.
amethyst on this one. We use the jet, the tourmaline, and this one I think is the red coral, which I think you're not doing anymore. Is that right?
Oh no, we have the red coral.
Oh,
Yep, the
you do
red
have the
coral.
red. Okay.
Oh, you know what? You're right. It is
Yeah.
we still have some in stock,
You
but
have some in
think
the
I think
big
it's gonna be
roll.
going out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I lose track. I don't know. Until
I
they're
know.
actually gone, like totally gone, then I'm like, yep, it's gone. But before
Yeah.
they're totally gone, I don't really know. They're all super, super gorgeous. So go ahead, Thomas, if you want to pick our winner for this video. We'll see if they're here. I know sometimes we've had to take a couple, but drum roll, please. Good luck, everybody. Yeah. Our giveaway winner is Arlene. Arlene, are you still here? We'll give you a minute to let us know that you're here. This was such a fun design. I really had a good time. And you really inspired me. I've got a whole table of beading that I did while we were talking.
That's my favorite part, is inspiration.
Oh, she's here.
Oh,
Arlene is here.
yay.
Congratulations. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. Yay. So you're going to go ahead and let me go back to this view here. You're going to go ahead, Arlene, and email us over at info@softluxcompany.com so we can get your shipping information. We'll send you a Peace and Love design kit. If you already have that kit, just let us know and we will work it out and get you something else. Really fun. Thanks everybody for being here and watching. Zach says, wow, absolutely amazing connection. And I'm really loving it's done with Softlex. I know, it is so cool. You know, it's one of those designs. I love when people take Softlex and really get sculptural with it, because you really can do so much with the wire. And it does like to be in a round shape. So you know, when you're thinking about doing something sculptural with Softlex, like thinking of it in sort of that round shape really just wants to naturally be in that shape. So it was super cool to see. I was so glad to be here with you today, Joyce. Thank you so much.
I'm glad. It was so much fun.
So fun. And I just really want to say thank you for just, you know, partnering with us at Softlex so many times. We just love you dearly. And before all of this, I didn't know who you were because I never could get into the shop. I knew that like Sarah would talk about Joyce is so fantastic, but I didn't know who Joyce was. And now I get to really hang out with you and get to know you. And it's just been a pleasure now that we're in this virtual space. So
I know. That's a blessing. It's been really great. I definitely one of the perks, because we just kind of like lived in our own little world there. You know, like we sometimes ventured out, but not often. And now it's like, ooh, let's be.
Yeah. You get to just, you know, inspire and talk to so many more people now in this space. So thanks, everybody. I didn't even get a chance to talk about our swag bag, but we might be sold out because before we went on this call here on this presentation, we only had 5 left. So if you haven't gotten one yet and you really wanted one, go check it out at softluxcompany.com and see if you can grab one of the last 5. I can't believe it. It's going to have mystery surprises from most of our presenters. And so you'll get some treats, some coupons, and some other things, as well as a really cool little bag that I designed with the help of all of you in the Softlex VIP Studio group. A couple people got yours. Great. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh yeah, we saw they were moving quickly, but I still thought it would make it to the end of the week. And then today it was like, nope, it was like they were just tickering down. And before we came on, I looked and I was like, only 5 left.
Wow. Well, I might miss out then. Darn, I meant to do that. I've been forgetting to grab it.
We got you. Don't worry about it, Joyce.
Okay.
There's 4 left as of right now.
Mug. I forgot. I used it the other day, and I forgot to make sure I had it for today. But I love my mug from last year, and I use it all the time.
Oh, good. I know we saw it on Elena's desk yesterday. She had all of her pens and stuff in it, and I was like, "That's a cute idea." I might do that because I do use mine a lot. But it would be fun to have it at my desk where I'm doing all my beading.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, thanks for showing us some really fun stuff. Everyone got there. Oh, a few people said they ordered it just yesterday. Thank goodness you snuck in there.
Good.
And Vivian is watching my drawing and my painting videos. Thank you, Vivian. So I don't know if you're
those.
Thank you.
Those.
So fun. It's great to be able to share all of the passions, all of the creative things. And so I appreciate you guys following with me over in Softlex and also over on my painting journey. So thank you for that. Okay, this was super fun. If you didn't get your kit, be sure to check it out over at Just Bead It Concord on Etsy, and go sign up for Joyce's email at justbeaditconcord.com. Is there anything else you want to share with everybody, Joyce?
I do, for the most part, do unless there's like some kind of family thing that I have to move it to a Sunday or something. But Saturdays, 2 p.m., I do a Facebook Live. So if you are in our Happy Beaders group or have followed our page, then you should get little notifications when I put that up. I am currently behind sticking up the notifications for, like, I do it kind of like Friday, maybe Saturday morning of what it's going to be, but I do, that is a regular thing that I do. So if you want to see more things, you can do that.
Yes, all the inspiration. Go check it out. Joyce is wonderful. And now you guys all got a little taste of how fantastic of a teacher she is today. So thank you, Joyce.
You're welcome.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful night. We'll see you tomorrow again for our final day of Customer Appreciation Week. We do have an after party at 3 p.m., Joyce. I don't know if you're going to be around to join us, but you're welcome to.
I'm going to try to sneak midway because I forgot about the my adult education starting up, and that one ends at 3:30. I was like,
oh yeah. So if you can sneak in, maybe we'll catch you on the tail end of it.
That's what I'm planning.
So everyone else, we will see you again tomorrow at 11 a.m. with Sam's Bead Shop, and then again at 1 p.m. with Nile, Silver Silk, and more. And then the after party will be tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific time. All right. Have a great night.
Bye. Thank you.